Summer is here as the fans file into Guaranteed Rate Field. It's a Friday night at the ballpark, and the Detroit Tigers parachute in for game number 1 of a 3-game series. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you, and Reynaldo Lopez has back-to-back quality starts. He has ace-like stuff, and we see him again tonight.
Sox rotation is starting to come together, and last time Reynaldo went to the mound, he beat the Red Sox, which is a mean feat in Boston. Sox took 2 of 3, and largely because Reynaldo just was on top of his game. He took it into the 7th inning, gave up 6 hits, just 1 earned run, 2 overall, struck out 6 and walked 3. Red Sox are a very good ball club, and he neutralized them right there. He's become a mainstay in this rotation. He's got top-of-the-order stuff. As you can see, Mike Fiers, his mound opponent, 2-0 against our Sox with a 1.72 ERA and 5 starts. Reynaldo at home this year has been close to untouchable, a 1.85 ERA in his 5 starts. We're looking for more of the same here tonight as the Tigers come to town, and you've got to catch the Tigers if you're going to do anything in this division.
Sox rested their double play combination last night. Moncada and Anderson are back in the lineup, and for Tim, it's just at the right time.
Last time out against the Tigers in that series, he was close to a one-man gang. He had 3 home runs, he drove in 6, and he knows Mike Fiers. He knows him very well. This home run to left center field was way back over the bullpen, and he continued to pound the baseball. So with 11 home runs this year, he's doing quite a job, and hopefully he can build on that in this series. Moncada has been known to hit a leadoff home run on occasion, maybe more the same in that respect. And the offense is playing pretty well, but it's been the pitching and the bullpen especially that's carried the load.
Fiers versus Lopez, game number 1 of 3. Couple of day games coming up, but as Steve said, those pinwheels start to fire early. The Sox did it in that first series of the homestand against the Indians. Jose Abreu yesterday in the first inning. Stick around, you never know.
White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
It is mullet night at the ballpark, so a little Bon Jovi for you. And a great look. Tigers and White Sox, game number 1 of 3 this weekend. The Tigers, the closest challenger to the AL Central throne, occupied by the Cleveland Indians. They're 4.5 games back as Ron Gardenhire scratches out this lineup. It's brought to you by the Webb Auto Group. Leonis Martin up top, and Candelario and Castellanos. Martinez at the 4 spot. Hicks and Goodrum at shortstop. Iglesias is out. McCann, Reyes, and Machado.
Defensive setup for our Sox. Presented by UI Health, and this is how Ricky Renteria is going to put them out there tonight with Charlie Tilson, Adam Engel, and Daniel Polka in the outfield, left to right. Then it's Yomer, Tim, Yohan, and Jose in the infield. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is Ronaldo Lopez on for his 14th start. The record isn't great, but the ERA is. ERA at 3.26. As you can see, only 60 hits in 77 and a third innings. Right-handers have done nothing with him, hitting him to a tune of 187. He's allowed only 7 home runs, which is a really low total at this point of the season. The umpires for the game tonight, the crew chief, Gary Cedarstrom, has the plate. Then it's Corey Blazer, Stu Sherwater, and Eric Cooper at third base. We will not see Eric Cooper in this series behind the plate. He normally is a pitcher's ump, but not so in this series. The Tigers have been stung. Miguel Cabrera out for the rest of the year. It was a left biceps injury. He's going to have surgery, and Ron Gardenhire knows he's got to make do with what he's got. That puts a lot more pressure on Candelario and Castellanos. So as Martin steps to the plate, we're ready to play baseball. I'm ready to turn it over to my ebullient play-by-play partner, Jason Benetti.
That is the nicest thing you've said to me all year, Stoney. Thank you. Leonis Martin will lead it off. And the Sox try to win another series, 4 consecutive series of at least a split, including a couple of weekend series, 1 against Boston and Milwaukee. Lopez to Martin, and we are underway with strike 1 at Guaranteed Rate Field.
4 series without a loss doesn't sound great until you look at the teams. And the teams were Milwaukee, Boston, Minnesota, and Cleveland. 3 very good teams and 1 trying to be good.
I think it sounds real good after the stretch the Sox had before that, too. Comparatively, Sox have been playing their best baseball of the season, maybe other than that initial road trip to Kansas City and Toronto.
Yeah, I believe that the bullpen has really picked it up. The starting rotation has been very good, and the offense just enough.
0-2 on Leonis Martin, who takes inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's going to be a scorcher this weekend. Tonight, 84 and sunny, a very pleasant night.
Just absolutely gorgeous at the park, and the wind not much of a factor, blowing toward the right field corner ever so gently.
The rule is, though, if in the winter you promised that you would never complain about the heat, you don't get to complain about the heat as it gets warmer here in Chicago.
I think it's always cooler by the lake, and we're going to take advantage of that.
2-2 from Reynaldo Lopez. Back-to-back quality starts, including that gem at Minnesota, 7 innings, 1 hit, scoreless baseball. As he challenges Martin at 97. Tigers come in 10th in Major League Baseball in batting average, but the on-base percentage is well below where the average suggests. They're at a 309 clip as a team on base wise, and that's because they don't walk very much at all. Off speed away, strike 3, 1 down. Last time out for Reynaldo Lopez. We told you about that start in Boston, and here was his pitch selection, mostly fastball.
And that changeup really is his second best pitch. That was a changeup that he threw to Martin that set him down. But he'll throw that more. The slider is a work in progress. His curve, not so much. But he is a fastball pitcher with a fastball at 97. And if he gets a little froggy on any given day, he can get it up to 98.
Candelario takes a ball outside, 1-0. Jeimer Candelario's had a nice season for the Tigers with those 10 home runs. He's got 15 doubles and 3 triples as well. In a favorable extra base hit park at Comerica Park.
He's also a better hitter from the right side, and strangely enough, more power from the right side than the left. So he's got 10 home runs. 4 have come from the right side, but that's in just 61 at bats. He came over from the Cubs. And the Cubs obviously not in need of a third baseman, so Candelario found a place to play every day.
He hits the 2-1 in the air. Tim Anderson is on the case, and now he bails for Adam Engel. 2 down as we check in downstairs for the first time tonight with Chuck Garfien. Hi, Chuck.
Hey, Jason. It has been a breakthrough season so far for Ronaldo Lopez. And speaking before the game, manager Rick Renteria says that he's just scratching the surface of what he can do, and he believes he can be a future ace on this team. We saw what he did against the Red Sox in Boston. Best offense in baseball, 36,000 fans. Give up the 1 earned run, 6 1/3, beat former Cy Young Award winner Rick Porcello. Renteria says his confidence is growing. He's got a chance to be great, not only because he has great stuff, but he wants to be great.
That's a part of it, right, Stoney?
You've got to believe that you're the best on any given night. It doesn't matter if you're facing a hitter that's going to the Hall of Fame. You have to believe tonight you're going to be better than that hitter. And that's the key to being a successful pitcher. Belief in yourself, and then everybody will believe in you.
Nicholas Castellanos, who is 8 for 26 against the Sox this year, 3 doubles and a couple driven in, but he has really fallen on hard times since we saw him last. He's 0 for his last 17.
Well, they've been throwing him upstairs a lot, because if you throw him downstairs, he's going to hurt you.
Slider away, 1-2.
That was a good slider. Late breaking, very quick. This right now is not good visibility for the hitters. If you can spin it at all and get something on it, you're going to mystify him. And I don't know if Ronaldo wants to go there or Omar wants him to go there, but another slider here ends the at bat. That is a fastball away.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Why not good visibility? We don't see those typical shadows when you're talking about that.
But the difference is that the lights really haven't taken over yet. This is dusk, and dusk favors the pitcher because of the hitter looking for the spin on the ball and not able to decipher it right away. So you want to get as many innings in this visibility as you can before it gets dark and the lights take over.
There's the slider for strike 3. Bookend punch outs for Lopez. He's on track tonight. No score as the Sox swing against Fires after this. By the Webb Auto Group. For the best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price, go to webcars.com. Abreu just crushed the ball at Detroit in late May. He's in the 3 spot. Moncada and Anderson back in at 1 and 7.
Defensive setup for the Tigers presented by UI Health, and this is how Ron Gardner is going to put them out there tonight. It's Reyes, Martin, and Castellanos in the outfield left to right with Candelario, Goodrum, Machado, and Hicks in the infield. James McCann gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Mike Fiers. 5-3 with an ERA a tick over 4. He's having a pretty good year. Not a strikeout pitcher necessarily, surprisingly. The left-handers having more difficulty than the right-handers. That's because of a good changeup. He also throws a lot of slow curveballs, and you got to hit him off the back foot. You have to wait back, or he's going to get you.
Fastball averages 88 for Fiers. And there it is, ball 1.
Concession stands coming into play early. They're sharing it. That's delightful.
Sharing is caring. 2 balls, no strikes on Yohan Moncada, who was just 4 for 27 against the Tigers coming in so far in 2018. He waited there and fouled it away. 2-1.
With a guy throwing 88, you can afford to wait back a little longer, and then you're going to hit the off-speed stuff. He's not going to be able to throw the fastball by you necessarily, especially if you keep in the zone and don't go upstairs to try to get it.
Called strike 2 on the corners, so 2 balls and 2 strikes on Moncada. Sox as a team hitting just under 240. That's 20th in baseball. Wrapped to second. Dixon Machado has out number 1. And you talked about the fastball and it being below 90. Fiers throws it about 45% of the time, and he'll mix in the curve and the slider with that changeup.
He's very proud of that changeup. It's normally a very good pitch for him. And this year, he's thrown off-speed pitches the majority of the time against the first batter faced in an inning. So if you go up there, you're going to get an off-speed pitch. The problem is if you try to roll over it, if it's away, you're going to ground it, in this case, to the right side if you're a left-hand hitter.
He's very happy to throw all of his pitches for strikes. So now Yolmer Sanchez takes a strike. Yolmer just 1 for his last 16. However, in that stretch, he's walked 4 times. So more patient Sanchez, with his most pitches per plate appearance of his career this year. Ball and 2 strikes on Sanchez. From Mike Fiers, the birthday boy. He turns 33 today. Dixon Machado is getting his money's worth. 2 down. Abreu coming up, and we tell you what you'll see in tonight's telecast. Locker room video from the Winston-Salem Dash, getting the first half title in the Carolina League. In their division, they'll go to the playoffs. Xander Bogaerts decides to tap the bag with a different limb. And a record streak for Carlos Lee. That's all coming up tonight at Joe Robbie Stadium.
That was a very good play by Xander Bogaerts. I saw it earlier today, and he did quite a job. He's a good fielder, not flashy, and not rated among the best fielders around, but he seems to get the job done.
You will see that play later on. 1 strike on Abreu. 26 doubles, tied for the lead in baseball with Eduardo Escobar, who has yet to double tonight.
Well, the Minnesotas have taken the measure of the Indians to this point.
They have short-circuited the Klubot, at least through 4.5, leading 4-0. That would be welcome news for the second-place Tigers, as Nico Goodrum is there to make the catch, and a 1-2-3 inning. We promise there will be base runners on mullet night, but it's a little hairy for them so far.
Later in tonight's game.
Victor Martinez takes on the White Sox today by AARP. And those are garish numbers.
Unbelievable for a man that is well represented by AARP. In fact, he'll get his cards pretty soon.
Oh, come on. He's 39.
Victor's a veteran. In this game, that is the ancient mariner, but he's with the Tigers.
Nothing like setting up your own jokes. As there's strike one to Martinez. 39 years old. Martinez, for the most part, has become a singles and doubles hitter. He's got 9 doubles, 4 homers this year. Batting average right around 245. Tigers team is interesting in terms of where they get their slugging because they lead the majors in doubles with 151 of them. They are 29th out of 30 with 56 home runs.
I think their park plays a great deal into that. It's a wonderful doubles and triples park.
Up the silo left side, Yolmer Sanchez. Pick him out of a crowd because of those neon specs. And one down as we'd like to welcome all our viewers streaming the game on YouTube TV. Steve always uses YouTube TV.
I do.
To watch Riverdance before the game.
I do that on occasion, yes.
That is actually true.
Michael Flatley. Terrific.
One down for John Hicks, who takes a breaking ball upstairs.
Hicks has done a nice job since taking over at first base. He was playing first base when Cabrera was hurt before the latest injury and doing a nice job of it. That batting average knocking at the door at 300. He is and probably was the backup catcher, although now he's going to handle first base quite a bit.
In the air right of center. Angle back of the warning track. It is gone.
Gives you an idea how lively the park is. That was a high fastball. It was taken the other way and it just did not come down. So Hicks with his 6th home run, 23rd driven in. Ford home run replay. It's a high fastball, and by high I mean belt high. He just juices it to right center field, and that will serve notice to both pitchers. You better throw some ground balls tonight. One in.
Nico Goodrum takes a strike. really is a warning sign, don't you think?
I do believe that it's going to be a very lively weekend because the temperatures are way up.
Yeah, not even just for tonight,
No,
but this whole weekend may be hitter friendly.
And when the temperatures are up, the ball just flies. Doesn't matter which way the wind is blowing. It's going to keep on carrying. Goodrum wants that Siegel to vacate the infield. Siegel looking for dinner.
And Goodrum nearly gets clipped. Second base, Moncada for round number 2. Told you about the injury to Miguel Cabrera with the biceps problem, and here is how it happened. Immediately he grabs it.
Looked like he hyperextended the left arm, and that's all it took to roll up the bicep, and baseball's losing quite a player. They also lost Shohei Ohtani for the season. He had Tommy John surgery. They're saying he won't be back till 2020, and what a blow that is to the Angels. Both with his pitching and his hitting, he was one of the biggest stories in baseball, put on the shelf with the surgery.
Well, it's bad for the game because then you not only lose him and what he does, but you also now have the questions of, can you have a two-way player again? He was going to open doors for maybe another generation. Certainly he's a special talent, but there could have been more of him if it worked out immediately for a full season at least.
I believe it's a cautionary tale for young pitchers. Don't throw the splitter if you've got a big fastball. And by big, I'm saying 94, 95 or up. His fastball was 100. He was throwing the splitter to go with it. And looking at his curveball in spring training, the curveball was good enough where he didn't need the splitter. And I believe it destroys elbows. I always have. And there's a few guys can get away with it, not many.
Drops in for a hit for McCann. The Birds got to second. McCann didn't. Another busy Seagull night at the ballpark.
Lots of bugs on the grass, and the Seagulls taking advantage of it.
Second base table for one, please. Time called.
Reyes, a Rule 5 draft, came over from Arizona in the winter of last year, and that means that Tigers are going to have to carry him on the major league roster all season long. If they don't, they're going to have to offer him back for half price to the Diamondbacks.
He's starting to hit the ball better at this point. In recent days, he's only had 50 at bats, but he's been more effective recently for the Tigers.
Well, they're hoping that he didn't miss on the Rule 5. It's not like you spend a lot of money, but that spot on the 25-man roster in the major leagues is very valuable.
2 strikes on Reyes.
He had some good numbers in the minor leagues average-wise. In fact, 3 straight years he hit at or near 300, 311, 303, and 292 at Jackson last year. But he doesn't show a whole lot of power. What he does do is the ability to run. Not great, but pretty good. That one was 99 as Ronaldo is heating it up.
Yeah, we haven't really seen him need that extra 2-3 miles an hour very much, considering the secondary stuff. 1-2, line to right. McCann slows down, and the throw from Polka got to third on a hop, so 2 on, 2 out.
One thing that Ronaldo is going to have to learn is, in a situation like that, you got a man at first base. If the throw comes in at all, it's probably going to come to third, and maybe you miss the cutoff man. He's got to be backing up Yolmer in this situation. He's just a bystander on the mound. At this point, he's not quite sure of where to go, but it's to back up third. And there was nobody back there. Fortunately, the ball did not get away from Yolmer. Even though Charlie Tilson was sprinting in on a deflection or anything else, Ronaldo's got to be back there.
Fortunately, it does no harm. Machado now. He's been a dangerous hitter this year against the Sox. He's 5 for 15.
The first series against us, he stung the balls. Second series, not quite so much.
Good slider, 0-2.
The way he approached those two sliders, it's like he's swinging at the invisible ball. I don't even think I'd waste one. I think I'd throw another one in the same spot. Very similar to the Castellanos at bat, where he waved at a couple of sliders.
It's a fastball, middle up. McCann at second, Reyes at first. That ball stayed up. Charlie Tilson racing in to make the catch. Tigers get 1 on 3 hits.
Official White Sox MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Well, it is mullet night, and you can almost guarantee that it's the first mullet night ever that Mike Fiers has pitched on during his birthday.
I would think so, and he's not sporting a mullet tonight.
Daniel Polka takes ball number 1. Mike Fiers shares a birthday with, among other luminaries, Wade Boggs, Billy Williams, Andy Pettit, and 1884's Heine Beckendorf.
I remember him.
You remember Heine?
Yeah. Not a whole lot of power. Line drive hitter. Maybe a pitcher. I don't know. Maybe an infielder.
He was a catcher.
He was a catcher.
Played
That's what
for
I said.
Detroit.
Played in the infield.
Oh boy. Have you joined yet?
No, I'm waiting for the invitation. You have to join by invitation only.
Yeah, what a great shot from our crew.
Very nice shirt. Yep.
2-2 on Polka. I am really surprised that you do not have a cabinet post.
Well, look, that's the Golden Rectile Society. That's what it, rectangle rather, excuse me, society. That's what they used to call it, and then it moved to the NSS. So there you go.
2-2 on Polka, and he takes strike three. Fastball at 90, one away. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox, presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com. One down for Matt Davidson.
I think this is probably a very good matchup for Matt. Flyers does not have a big fastball, and Matt usually will hit fastballs to right center when the guy tries to stay away.
There's a strike on the corner. If he throws pitches like that, he's probably safe.
Well, that was a little slider. He doesn't throw that too many times, but that's a perfect pitch on the first pitch.
Fouled back off of Gary Cederstrom.
That got him pretty good.
He's having a good laugh.
Well, you either laugh or cry, and he's choosing the laughter. We'll watch it again. Jeez. That's not too good. Maybe the chest protector got the brunt of that. Maybe not.
Looked like it kicked off his arm too. That's a really good look. Tie-dye and mullets. No balls and 2 strikes on Davidson.
I got a pretty orange one for you. Goes with your eyes.
Thank goodness that was a ball in play. Candelario, 2 down. And here comes Narvaez. It's a big series for the Tigers. They're 4.5 games back of first. The Twins right now are leading Cleveland. So look, the Tigers have an opportunity here this weekend to trumpet themselves as contenders in the AL Central if the Twins can pick up a couple against the Indians and make this thing really close.
And Kluber's been knocked out in that game at Cleveland, which is a rarity for him. Minnesota still leads 4-0, and they're threatening in the top of the 6th. So yeah, the Tigers believe, and I talked with Ron Gardner. He felt, you know, why not us with the Indians going through the struggles they're going through. I think every team in the division has a pretty good idea. Now, obviously, Kansas City and our Sox are not exactly in a position to take advantage of the struggles of Cleveland. But
Omar Narvaez is now 7 for his last 12 as he forces Martin into the alleyway. Narvaez is into second base. It's a 2-out double.
That was just flat out hustle. Martin has the best arm by far in the outfield, but he was going away from the throw. And Omar hustling to first base, thinking about a double when he left the box. He hits this ball in the gap, and then Martin has a long way to run to get it. Not sure exactly why he decided to slide, but sliding into the throw allowed him no throw, and Narvaez forcing the throw, and he makes it easily. That's just flat out hustle.
Second gear there for Omar.
He did. He found it.
Now Tim Anderson, who wore out the Tigers at Comerica Park in late May. There's strike 1.
I know this is going to surprise you, and I know it's a different era of baseball, but when I came to the major leagues, man in center field running down my mistakes was Willie Mays. I never once saw him slide into the gap to catch a ball and get it back in.
He was just loafing it.
He would just go get it and then gun you down if you decided to go. But I think it was that slide that gave Omar the confidence that he could make it.
Yeah, then he didn't handle it cleanly, Martin. It's called strike 2.
That's the upper reaches of the strike zone, up and away, and against fires. Tim, well, let's just say he likes to see him. So Machado and Narvaez having an animated conversation at second base. Siegel, for the most part, delaying the game.
Well, you know, it's fitting that you would have a flock of seagulls on mullet night. It's ideal with jokes like that to run so far away.
Base hit here ties it up. Arms not great in the outfield except for center.
That's called strike 3, a little bit off the plate, but Fiers got the call. 1-0 Tigers, mullet night on the radio. Best part of that is the listeners don't have to see it. CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of Chicago, Mimi LeClaire, is part of Sox Serve Week. Hi, Mimi.
How are you? Good to be here.
Good to have you here because it was a big day at one of your clubs here in Chicago, right?
It was a big day at our Dr. Martin Luther King Club on the west side of Chicago. We had a number of players and Sox volunteer corps members and coaches, and they came and they worked really hard to get our club in order because the Sox have generously funded a teen center for us at the King Club, something that those kids desperately needed, and then they came to put the finishing touches on it today.
So what was the event like? What was the renovation? What did these guys do today?
Well, I'll tell you, the King Club has been around for about 65 years, and not much has been done to it in about 50 years. So they, the Sox band together with their volunteers, and they came and painted, made the place beautiful, provided the funding for a teen center, worked with the kids, and it was really, truly a magical day for them.
Tim Anderson, Adam Engel, James Shields, Don Cooper were all there.
That's right.
You told me how many kids you have there, and it was startling to me. Why don't you tell our listeners?
Yes, we have 900 young people who are members of the Dr. Martin Luther King Club.
That's a whole lot of kids.
It's a whole lot of kids, and we had to temporarily close it because it was in such bad shape, and they are desperate to get back into their clubs.
And the Sox brought with them some gifts. They brought 4 tablets, 2 laptops, 1 GoPro, as long as some other things. They
That's
had an ice
right.
cream social, which was pretty exciting, I'm sure, and it's really wonderful of those guys to take time when they have a night game
You
to
know-
show up, and I think the kids probably appreciated it.
Oh, big time. This is going to be a memory of a lifetime for them. Their school principal was there, and she said that they've been looking forward to this for the past 2 months, and it's something that they're never ever going to forget. And I have to say that the White Sox have been with us for a number of years, and not only do they walk the talk. They really do. Not only do they come and do something for a day, but throughout the course of the year, the Sox have really been helping with the boys and girls clubs. And these are kids who would otherwise not have these kinds of opportunities. They go to clubs, they go to clinics. The players will come and serve as mentors to these young people, and it's just really been incredible for us.
Who was the best painter of the group? Did you pick one?
You're not going to get me to say that. Of course, it was hard to get them out of the gym to go upstairs to paint, but they were troopers.
Is that right?
They were really.
They were
troopers.
in sports mode.
They were, absolutely, yeah. And they're nice and tall, so they were able to get almost up to the ceiling. It was terrific. Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
It is the
Get the
way.
tall guys in with the rollers, as we saw on the video.
That's right. But really, to think about the fact that they were, as you said, they have a game tonight, and that they're working and sweating. It was just really, really very generous of them.
So if people come to your center or to one of your clubs, what are the services you provide,
Right.
and what's the atmosphere like?
Yeah, these kids really call it their home away from home. It's academic. We work with them on academics, healthy living, character and leadership. Some of our kids are members of our club for 10, 15 years. And we work to find them college scholarships, get them internships. So really, it's much more than a gym and swim. It's really, we work with them to develop relationships with them and we're kind of the surrogate families in many respects.
Do you have different hours this time of year because most
do.
kids aren't in school,
Yep.
so you have to expand those hours,
We
I
do.
guess.
We have summer camp. In 21 of our 23 clubs, we run summer camp from 8:30 in the morning till 6, 7 o'clock at night, and then in the evening we have programs for our teenagers. Yeah, and we do it because we want to keep a safe place for these kids. We want to be able to keep them off the streets and to provide something really fun for them to do. If we don't make it fun, they're not going to come back.
Is the King Club one of your biggest, or do you have bigger ones?
It is one of our biggest, yes. And then we have our Valentine Club is another big one in Bridgeport. We have them all over the city, and we really try to put them in areas of greatest need.
What's one of your favorite stories of success of the club, whether it be a person, an event, whatever it might be?
Yes. Well, I have many, but I have one. I was sitting in a seminar several weeks ago, and I was talking about where I was, and this young man said to me, the Dr. Martin Luther King Club in Chicago is where I grew up. And this man today is a surgeon.
This will stay in the park. Tilson is underneath, and one down. There's always that moment of anticipation when the ball
Understood.
goes into the outfield.
Today he works for the NBA, and he's an orthopedic surgeon, and he was one of the Dr. Martin Luther King Club alumni.
The National Basketball Association?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Wow, that had to have brought a smile to your face,
It
right?
sure did. So we're going to make sure he wants to come back to the club and see what he can do to help. He obviously doesn't live in the city, but he gets here because his grandmother lives just a few blocks away from the club.
Wow.
So that's one of many, many good stories I have.
If people are listening to this and they say, I really want to be involved
Yes.
in this, in terms of volunteering, whatever it might be, where should they go?
They should go to the website at www.bgcc.org.
How did you get involved?
I was looking for an organization that was really working with youth that really needed a chance in life, and this opportunity came up, and I just jumped at it.
Why? Where is that in your heart?
Well, I'll tell you, I think that children are this country's most precious resource, and if we don't, as a country, as in a community, and I think the Sox really believe in this too, invest in them when they're young, we're doing the country a great disservice.
Base hit to left for Castellanos. Martin to second. We're joined by Mimi LeClaire, who's the president and CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of Chicago. The Sox were there. What was that like for the young people in terms of one-on-one interaction? How much did they get to make some friends and all that?
Well, I'll tell you, at first they were so awestruck. They just couldn't move. And little by little, the players were so warm and welcoming. They kind of coaxed them into certain activities. And the players actually had certain things set up in the gym, so they got them motivated right away, and then the kids wouldn't stop. You know, then they were
Really?
hanging. Yeah. Then they were all over the players and wanting photographs and autographs and etc. It was incredible.
That's the way everybody is with Steve Stone. At first, but then afterward, photographs and
I
autographs.
don't believe that, Steve.
No, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. It's elder abuse, actually, is what he's involved in these days.
It's a strike to Martinez. It was basketball they were playing, right? Here's Tim Anderson getting his
It is right. Yes.
basketball on.
And I know Christine O'Reilly said, "My God, if he gets hurt, my career is ended." Yeah.
Well, he was a basketball player and a very good one. In fact, chose baseball over basketball, but he was late to the game of baseball because of his love for basketball.
got it,
So
yeah.
it's not surprising that he was on the court.
Yeah, and it was very obvious he was good at what he did, for sure.
So what are you looking for in terms of volunteers? You mentioned going to the website, but what sorts of skills do people have that can really help your organization?
I'll tell you, these children are just so, they have such a desire and thirst to learn. So if folks, you know, have any particular desire to help out with tutoring in math or science or reading, or, you know, just to hang out with these kids is something that they really treasure, because they don't have, many of them don't have a real strong positive adult role model in their lives. And when there's somebody like a volunteer who steps forward and says, "I really do care," that means a lot to these young people. It really does.
Nice.
Yeah.
How hard is it for you to have all these kids that you get to know
Yes.
and form a relationship with,
Right.
and know that the goal is to push them out into the world
Right.
and have very successful lives?
Honestly, it's the greatest joy of my life. These
Really?
kids are so talented. Absolutely. They don't know how talented they are, and I really feel like it's our job to bring that out in them, and then to see them go off into onto different pathways is just so rewarding, really.
Did they tell you guys the path that they want to go on, and then you can work on providing some of the help and assistance
do.
and tutoring, perhaps? Is
They
that how you
do.
work that?
Yes, they do. And then there are some kids, obviously, who will say, "I'd love to be a professional baseball player," and which we laud.
As this ball is down the line and trouble, Martin is on his way home. Castellanos follows, and the throw to the plate is high, so the Tigers get 2 more. Maybe you're looking over your shoulder like you're the bad luck charm or something.
No,
It's not your fault.
I have a friend here with me who's from Detroit, although she is a Sox fan.
Well, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
We can't even have a Detroit person in the
I
booth.
know, yeah.
This was a changeup, and Martinez takes it in the right field corner, driving home runs 25 and 26 for him, giving the Tigers a 3-run lead.
So if people that are watching say, you know what, there's this young person that I know of that
Oh, yes.
doesn't necessarily have a great foundation around them,
right.
him or her, how do you kind of guide somebody to, and is there some way to sign up, or what?
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
Absolutely. They can call me at my number is 312-235-8000, and we will make sure that they are put in touch with the closest club. In fact, we're growing. We really want to expand so that we can open up more clubs, because the city, for some children, is not a very safe place to grow up. Many of them come from communities that are rife with violence and poverty, and we want these kids in particular to know that we are there for them. So they can call directly, or again go to the website, and we will absolutely make sure we put them in touch with the right people.
What's your favorite moment in the last year at one of the clubs?
I have to say today today pretty much topped it. When I walked in and the place was a buzz of activity, and it was so beautifully painted, and you see these White Sox volunteer corps members around, it was pretty special.
Engel runs it down in right center. He got up early to paint and still has the energy to find his way into the alley for out number 2. It's one of your guys out there.
This one fortunately stayed in the park.
Yeah.
Well, Mimi, thank you so much for
Thank you,
stopping by.
gentlemen.
Mimi
Thank you.
LeClaire from Boys and Girls Clubs of
Pleasure.
Chicago,
Mimi.
the president and
Great
CEO.
work.
Thank
It was
you.
great chatting with you.
You as well. Thank you. Thanks for everything you guys do.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Take care.
You do wonderful things for the community. So Mimi LeClaire from Boys and Girls Clubs of Chicago, the president and CEO. 2 down, 2 in. And there is strike 1 to Nico Goodrum. Strike 2 to Goodrum. So one of the best parts of being able to do this job is sitting next to people like that who have such care for other humans. I mean, it's coming out of her pores.
I'm still shocked that they've got 900 kids at the club. I mean, that is a very substantial club, and it's nice that guys could go down there and help them renovate.
Popped up third base side. Yolmer, Tim. It's Tim making the catch over the shoulder. Tim Anderson skates into the picture for out number 3. Yolmer didn't have a great look at it. Tim did, and he hustled in. Presented by Guaranteed Rate, and this celebration is in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And a major celebration it was. The first half champions in the Southern Division, Omar Vizquel's group, was partying through the night.
That's just great. That's an excited group. And it'll be fun when they play for it all.
So they'll be in the postseason. When you win a first or second half title, you go to the playoffs in the Carolina League. Dylan Cease in that game through 8 innings. They won 8-2. They found out after the game that they had made the postseason, and the celebration spilled out onto the field as Charlie Tilson has a leadoff single. So what does that mean up here in the big leagues? We find out in One Thing with Ricky. Last night, Winston-Salem clinched a playoff berth in the Carolina League, Sox affiliate. What does that mean to you as a major league manager?
It's awesome. It means that the players are coming together as a unit. It means that they're individually doing what they need to do in order to help that club win, and collectively they're coming together as a group and playing good baseball.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
The goal here is to have winning at as many levels as you possibly can.
And then bring those players to the major leagues when they already have a winning tradition.
Foul territory, Candelario, Chuck.
You know, you're talking about Winston-Salem. They got some guys who are playing fabulously. Blake Rutherford, Joel Booker, Mike Rodolfo, Luis Basabe. That's their outfield. They have so many good outfielders, although because of his injury, Adolfo's only been DHing, but they have so many outfielders, they don't know what to do with all of them. Some of them have to sit because they are so talented and so deep in that position. But you were talking about having success at multiple levels. The White Sox have 17 minor league all-stars this year, 18 if you count Justin Jerschley, who's the 28-year-old manager at Kannapolis. So up and down that minor league system, a lot of talent, and the leagues that they're in are recognizing that talent with all these all-star selections.
And that doesn't even include AAA Charlotte yet, right, Chuck?
That doesn't include that, no. So there could be a Michael Kopech in there. We'll see what happens there. But, you know, we get a lot of publicity. We give a lot of publicity to people like Dylan Cease, who came over in the Cubs trade, and he's having a fabulous season with the Dash. But there's under-the-radar pitchers like Bernardo Flores, who's got a 2.55 ERA. He's an all-star, as well as a reliever named Matt Foster, who has a 2.33 ERA. I want to give some love to some of these guys who are playing just as well as some of the more popular players that White Sox fans are hearing about, but there's, I think, more talent than even meets the eye right now in the minor league system.
Yeah, take Joel Booker, for example, right? 22nd round pick out of Iowa, and you would think if there's one guy at the start of the season that might get frozen out of that rotation in Winston-Salem, it could be the 22nd round pick. But he's played so well that they've got to find a place for him in the lineup.
I think Chris Getz has a tough job.
Yeah, he does.
As trying to figure out where to play these guys. And I think once their first half of the seasons are completed, which will be this weekend, I think starting next week or the week after, you'll start seeing more movement because guys are being promoted throughout the system.
Well, the big thing is, look, once you get into professional baseball, it doesn't matter what level you are, talent is going to will out. If you've got the talent, and you're in the case of Booker, 22nd round draft pick, it doesn't matter if you're out playing people, you're going to get a chance to play. That's just the way it goes.
Ball's hammered down the line and foul for Moncada. Most of our viewing audience, you have to imagine, loves Joel Booker. He's an Iowa kid.
You've got a lot of Iowans that are Sox fans.
Chuck mentioned typically in minor league baseball, the first half, second half delineation right after the end of the first half, especially if one of your teams or multiple are in a playoff hunt, you'll see roster movement at the beginning of the second half of the season. So we'll see what the Sox decide to do with some of those prospects in Winston-Salem as Fiers strikes out Moncada, 2 down.
Well, that's a great pitching pattern that he used on Moncada, because after a guy turns on a fastball and yanks it well foul, then you throw the straight change, you get him well out in front of it, and Yuan, who grounded the ball to second base the first time up, is a strikeout victim this time.
2 down for Yolmer Sanchez. Chuck mentioned the Kannapolis team with all of the All-Stars in the South Atlantic League. They are 1 game up in the Northern Division of the South Atlantic League. They're trailing tonight against Greensboro, and 3 games remaining, including tonight in that first half. So we'll see if the Intimidators also find their way into the playoffs, or will it be the Lakewood Blue Claws, the Phillies affiliate?
Ooh, with the Blue Claws.
Yeah. We talk about a fun bus league. You get on a bus in your division to go to Lakewood, New Jersey from Kannapolis, North Carolina. That's a no.
Well, it's a few stops on the way, certainly.
In the air left field from Sanchez. Reyes in foul territory, had some room, and Reyes plucks it. Yeah, he did. Victor Reyes making acquaintances here at Guaranteed Rate Field. Into row 1 for the final out.
sports? Well, if he or she has, nominate someone you know now at NBCSports.com/fairplay to be the Student Athlete of the Month.
What a beautiful vista this city has.
I thought you meant that one.
That is a different kind of vista. Mullet night brings out the best in people.
It's really good.
First pitch hunting. James McCann to right field. Polka foul territory. You know, the good thing about cell phones and the bad thing about cell phones with cameras are both in that picture. You can look at yourself wearing the mullet.
It takes some maintenance, though.
Yeah, it clearly does.
Yeah, it takes maintenance for it. That one, not so much maintenance.
That's Raggedy Andy. Two strikes on McCann. Mullet night is clearly a big hit. Tim can't get there. McCann 2 for 2. For a limited time, get 2 outfield reserve seats for just $20.18 with the Dads and Grads flash sale. This ticket package is the perfect gift for Father's Day or the recent grad in your life. Visit whitesox.com/dadgrad to purchase your tickets before time runs out. Some Dads and Grads in the ballpark tonight, or we're assuming so.
Could be that.
Yeah. Time called before Reyes sees his first pitch. Reynaldo Lopez, we've seen a couple of games like this now where early on teams have been attacking him quickly in the count and come up with some big hit totals.
Reyes hit a slider last time and took it into right field. Normally when that happens, you'd like to see him hit a fastball the next time if he's fast enough to catch up with it.
He takes a called strike. 2 strikeouts, no walks, everything else a ball in play for the Tigers tonight. We told you they don't walk very much. They're tied for last in baseball in walks by batters.
That was a good fastball, but Omar got up a little too soon and might have blocked the vision of Gary Cedarstrom. McCann doesn't run. He's been thrown out the one time he's tried to steal.
Left field side, Charlie Tilson booking it into foul ground, and he's not going to get there. So 1-2 on Reyes. Get the feeling that that's not going to be the last time we see a big dirt swath on Charlie Tilson's jersey.
No, speed's a good part of his game, and so are stolen bases when he does get on.
Lopez a glance at first and McCann. That is strike 3 upstairs at 97, 1 down. And here's your Sox math question for tonight's ball game. Hashtag Sox math on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize off the shelf. Consecutive series the Sox have at least tied entering tonight, multiplied by historical Sox with more career Sox home runs than Jose Abreu, plus the number of home runs for Abreu in his career minus the number of letters in the last name of the player he's currently tied with. And you can win a bag of hair.
That is a beautiful mullet wig.
Might be game used by the end of the night. We'll see.
Could very well be. Looks a lot like Nicki Minaj made a trip up to the booth.
You know who Nicki Minaj is?
Are you kidding? She and I are tight. Yeah, I know. You're looking at me askance, but that's just the deal.
Wow. Cue shot foul. 0-2 on Machado.
That one came off with a lot of spin, and Jose was waiting to see if that one spun into fair territory.
Might as well run it out, right?
Just take a look, because you never know. If that didn't get on the grass, if that stayed on the dirt, there was a chance it could have spun back.
Oh, 2. Fouled back. Chuck has news on another Nicky.
Yeah, Nicky Delmonico had the cast taken off his hand just before the game. He was getting an X-ray here at the park to see if it was clear to remove the cast from his hand. There we go. And it's not official, like he can't keep it off all day long, but he can have in intermittent times he can have the cast off his hand. So progress on in the health department for Nicky. He hopes to grip a bat maybe starting next week.
That's good news. Thanks, Chuck.
I'll work on my English in a little bit.
No, it's great. Your English is typically very good.
Yes, and we know it's your second language, so you're doing a terrific job.
Yeah, my first language is sportscaster.
No, you've been miming with Southpaw long enough that I think you've just gone into charades mode.
Yeah, miming is first, sportscasting second, English third.
Another foul ball from Machado as he stays alive. Yeah, sometimes there are just no words.
By the way, I will be heading out to speak with a very special mullet-wearing human in a little bit.
Well, if that's not going to keep people around, I don't know what is, because I'm stoked for that. On the ground and foul.
I mean, all it is me talking with someone with a mullet. Actually,
it's
three
not
mullets.
just that. It can't just be that.
No,
it's got to be fun.
I don't want to give it all away, but how about me and three mullets? It actually sounds more like a sitcom.
Yeah, Chuck and three mullets.
Yeah.
I'm in. We should do sitcoms on NBC Sports Chicago. In the air left field, Charlie Tilson is underneath for out number 2. Xfinity X1 customers say, show me the Chicago White Sox into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. With Chuck Garfien downstairs, Steve Stone, Jason Benetti in the booth, Cindy Lauper is here.
And a host of mullets.
Koosh ball and a Sox jersey. Great thing about mullets is there's not one good way to do it. So many opportunities. To right field, Polka can't get there. McCann into third. It's a 2-out hit for Leonis Martin, his second straight hit. He's 2 for 3. And here comes Coop.
That's 8 hits so far, not through the 4th inning. That's really uncharacteristic of Ronaldo Lopez, because normally he gives up less hits than innings pitched. So Don comes out with a word with him. One of the things he might be talking about is holding Martin close at first.
What do you think it is in these starts where Lopez gives up a significant amount of hits early? What's different?
It's hard to point to one thing. Today it's been location more than anything else. It hasn't been stuff, because we've seen the fastball up to 99 miles an hour. I actually believe his fastball has more life at 96 miles an hour. 95 or 96 seems to be livelier. I think when he forces it to get it to 98 and 99, I think it flattens out. And it doesn't matter the velocity you have. You need some late movement. Without the movement, guys will square up the fastball. So the extra 2 miles an hour or so, that doesn't help very much. You need to have a lively fastball. It doesn't matter what the velocity is to keep it off the sweet spot of the bat.
Candelario, who's 0 for 2, has McCann at third, Martin at first. Still a 3-0 game in the fourth. And strike one.
There he took a little something off the fastball. That was 92. And when you're used to seeing 97, 98, 92, sometimes it's hard to pull the trigger. That's Dave Clark, third base coach.
That's fouled as Martin was running. So 0-2 coming into this game. Here's where Lopez was getting hit. So right-handers being on the right, and then right-handers being on the left is the catcher's perspective. Left-handers on the right. That 333 and 400. 333 is down and in to right-handers. 400 is straight away downstairs. But for the most part, down the middle, he's even avoided that. And maybe that is the movement you're talking about on his pitches, right?
You would think that's the way it would be.
Oh, and 2. Martin runs, throw to second, and Tim comes home with it. McCann is toast. With somebody else maybe, with a catcher at third. Ooh boy. Sox were wise to the game. Omar, Tim, return pass. See ya.
For all military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag Hats Off for Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Jose Abreu, Daniel Palka, Matt Davidson on the way to face Mike Fiers. And Jose hacks at the first pitch. John Hicks for round number 1. Here's your Sox math winner for tonight. Sox have tied at least 4 straight series times 11 Sox with more home runs than Jose Abreu. 135 in his career, so that's 179 minus 6 for Minnie Minoso, who Jose Abreu is currently tied with for 12th on the Sox all-time list, his countryman, the Cuban Comet.
Pretty tough quiz tonight.
Mike Ganella, your winner. Congratulations to Mike.
A repeat winner.
Indeed.
Many times, actually. This was not a giveaway, though.
No. Mike can have hair in a bag if he wants it on mullet night off the prize shelf.
You can't beat that, I think. Well, maybe you can. Easily, actually.
Hair in a bag?
Yeah.
In the air, left-hand side. And Reyes. All right. So, Mike, your prize is this, possibly.
Very colorful, actually.
Yeah. Don't you think?
The net is out, though. So if you want to try that on, yeah, that's a good look.
My hand is not good.
No, it's not good. I can't find any part of it that's good.
Let's see. Let's try it again. Re-rack it, as they say in TV.
Yikes.
Wow.
Perfect for Halloween 8.
Revenge of the viewer.
There's a decent look. I like the band with it. Matt Davidson did not see a hittable fastball last time. The only fastball he saw was in on his hands, and he couldn't do anything with it except foul it off of Gary Cedarstrom. Gary is hoping for a lack of repeat this time.
And that is ball 3.
I'd like to see Matt get the 3-0 green light.
Mullets everywhere. Different mullets. Didn't have the green light or didn't choose to use it. 3-1.
89 right down the middle.
Tigers with 1 in the second on a home run from Hicks. 2 in the third on a Martinez double.
The thing with Fires is, although that fastball is 89, 90 miles an hour, more times than not, he's going to throw it upstairs. That's the difference. You showed the graphic of the hot zones against Ronaldo Lopez. He gets hurt downstairs, even at 97, 98. Upstairs, a different story with Fires. 9 miles an hour difference, yet he gets away with high fastballs. Very difficult for anybody to catch up with it in a pitch called higher than high.
That was up. Broken bat. Long run for Goodrum. He's got a shot at this and has to stick it in his pocket. So Davidson, an infield single to the right of second base.
You know, the shift is interesting to me, and there's one way I would modify it. Although they're talking about doing away with the shift entirely in the next few years or so, but I think when you get to 2 strikes, I think it's a different at bat. I think some guys are looking just to make contact, and so with this shift, it works this time against the Tigers. I would like to see the difference early in the count and how many times the hitter pulls the ball, as opposed to later in the count when he either takes it up the middle or maybe hits it to the right side if he's a right-hand hitter.
So refine the shift based on count.
Right. I mean, we've got so many statistics and quantify just about everything. That certainly is a way to quantify it, except, you know, one size fits all shift.
Well, there's a story on Baseball Prospectus in the last couple of days that actually suggests that the shift creates like 0.007% more base runners. And the theory is that pitchers start to nibble a little bit more or don't pitch like they want to pitch because of the shift. So there's some new research suggesting that the shift may not be as effective as we once thought.
Well, eventually, if that comes in vogue, you're going to see less shifts or less drastic shifts. And perhaps shifting on counts would be the key.
If you can get more and more specific and use it in the moments when you are closer to sure that something is going to happen, the numbers would say that you're going to have a greater chance of what you want to come of it. It's a good point. You should tell somebody about that.
Occasionally I come up with a good point, usually once every 3-4 weeks. That's about it. Then I'm exhausted and it takes me close to a month to regroup.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Omar.
Beautiful night at the ballpark. Seagulls enjoying it, certainly. Sox not enjoying the score at this point.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Narvaez with Anderson next. Great view from out there in the outfield here at Guaranteed Rate Field.
And a great night for it.
On the ground, third base side, Candelario across the diamond for out number 3. 3-0 Detroit with the lead here in Chicago. Well, that's not haunting or career ending. Sox Serve Week by purchasing a White Sox Charities t-shirt with all proceeds furthering the mission to make Chicago a better place to live, work, and play beyond the diamond. Visit whitesox.com/SoxServe to purchase yours. Let's go downstairs. Chuck Garfien with his special guest.
Yeah, here in right center field, and I'm surrounded by 3 mullets. We've got, first off, I got to talk to Matt Meyer. Matt, this is a real mullet. Some people come here with fake mullets. You got a real one.
No, this is 100% legit. Absolutely real hair. Does not come off.
Now, you did this, you made a fundraiser out of this, and you wanted to include White Sox fans. Can you explain what you did?
Yeah, so basically the way it works is we set it up so I grow my hair out for a couple years. The longer, the more money we raise, the longer I got to keep the mullet, and we have like 3 or 4 options for them to pick, and whoever makes the most money, whichever mullet makes the most money, that's the one I cut, and the money goes to charity.
So what mullet exactly won here?
So this one is the ECWCWWF, which is kind of a wrestling homage where...
The mic cut out. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. It's a wrestling homage where and I'm not in costume yet, but every few weeks I got to do another one, and another wrestler. And
like it now, your brother is sitting in front of us. He showed up here without a mullet. Now he has one.
True.
So let's take us through what happened here today. Should I ask him or should I ask you?
Ask this guy.
All right. So what?
So John didn't have a mullet when he showed up, but my dad put an extra $500 towards charity. If he would get a mullet, my other brother would get a mullet. And so John wasn't quite ready for it, so he showed up at the park and he got his mullet cut.
It does look good, and this is the other brother. So here are your 3 mullets here in right center field, Jason and Steve.
Thank you, Chuck. You almost get the feeling that that is safer, only having 60% of it hurt anyway.
I think 2 more pairs of glasses. You got the Hanson brothers, Chuck.
That's a good look. And
yeah, they look like the Hanson brothers. I think you nailed it.
All-time hockey, Eddie Short, eh?
Oh, now you just Now they're like,
right,
they're loving that.
We'll be talking back bacon and everything pretty soon here.
Yeah. Way to go. They're so proud right now. Slap shot.
Good movie.
Yeah. Candelario at first, Castellanos the batter, and Chuck Garfien in Mullet Central. 1-2. All right, so it's a night like this where you've given up a bundle of hits. You're not used to it. If you're Lopez, typically for the year, how do you pitch differently later on in the game, if at all?
Well, by taking something off and putting something on, not just throwing one speed. He's good to about 110 pitches. He knows that, so he's still got some innings to go. Double play ground ball here would work nicely.
Castellanos broken 0 for 18 in his last 5 games with that single in the third.
One of the reasons he was able to do it is he got a low fastball and drilled it through the left side.
On the ground, softly hit. Sanchez can't control it. He was only going to get one likely anyway.
Yeah, another example of looking for two before you got one, because it was a slow tapper and no real chance to get two. Hit the heel of the glove and just bounded away, and then Yomer trying to get a handle on it, couldn't do it.
Trying to get himself straightened out as Victor Martinez comes up. Victor with that double in the third inning had his first extra base hit in the last 11 days as he sent the ball ringing into the right field corner. There's strike one. Foul ball right hand side, 0-2. Sox fans, join us as the White Sox take on the Oakland Athletics Saturday, June 23rd, 1:10 p.m. First 20,000 fans get a White Sox cap presented by CIBC, banking that fits your life. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. And you never know when you'll get a cap and a souvenir.
It's a pretty good night.
Pitch number 80 this evening for Lopez. Popped foul. Sox since 2010 have really struggled against the Tigers. 62-93 this decade against Detroit.
They've been a pretty good team. I mean, they had a healthy Cabrera and a healthy Martinez both. Then Castellanos came along.
This game important for the Tigers early on. This is game number 71 for them. They're 4.5 back of first place Cleveland, but the Indians are down 6-1 against Minnesota. So if that holds and the Tigers were to scratch out a win tonight, they'd be just 3.5 back as we've passed the middle of June. I don't think anybody in Detroit really expected that from this season. Do you?
No, I don't, and especially if you tell them that with an unhealthy Miguel Cabrera. I mean, that's really amazing.
0-2. On the ground to first. We get one there. Return pass. Double play. Jose knew who was running, went to second first, and got 2.
Well, the interesting thing is when he caught the ball, he was thinking about stepping on the bag, but then he realized that with Victor going up the line, it's a much easier play than it is to go and get Castellanos. So he went to second, back to first. And Tim did a nice job. Shows you how strong his arm is, because this throw is really a no-step throw. He threw it flat on the ground with both feet instead of stepping, and the double play is a big one.
So that's twice this homestand where Abreu's instincts at first base have kicked in very quickly.
And you factor that in with a very strong and accurate arm, and you get your double play hit to that side.
Hicks, who is something of a dead ringer for singer Ed Sheeran, takes strike 1. Oh, and 2.
He's hit the ball very hard to right center twice. One for a home run, the other back to the track. So if you go with the fastball, might be a good time to go inside off the plate.
Oh, and 2. Chopped foul.
Narvaez wanted it up, and Ronaldo got it down. That's why Hicks was able to stay alive.
'28-year-old first baseman John Hicks, who homered in the second inning on a 2-0 pitch. This 0-2 is hit to third. Sanchez ends the inning. No harm done on the error. Tigers strand 1 at third, 3-0. Without a walk. I mean, he is just a machine.
And unless the Indians make a remarkable comeback with only 2 outs to go in that game, he is going to lose for one of the very few times this year.
As people have talked about baseball in the future, there's been some discussion of realignment or changing divisions or scrapping divisions in their entirety and just having leagues and having the top 8 or 4 or whatever it might be from each league make the playoffs. As Anderson shoots one to left for a leadoff single. But right now, the point being, there are some tremendous divisional races in baseball.
I think keeping the divisions is a good thing, but I think eventually when they go to either realignment or changing the schedule or do whatever they have to do, it's going to be with 32 teams, meaning an expansion. And when that happens, 4 4-team divisions in each league seems to be the way to go. That way it'll be easier to win your division if you have to beat 3 other teams as opposed to 4, and the wild card will be a little bit easier, and then you can get, if you realign everybody, you can get all the rivalry teams in the same division, and wouldn't that be something?
That would be great fun in divisional play.
Ooh. Well, imagine the Yankees and the Mets in the same division.
What about
the Cubs and the White Sox?
Cubs,
same division.
Sox, Cardinals, Royals.
Yeah, that would be
in one division.
That would be something. Yep.
Charlie Tilson. That said, would you like to see Cubs Sox divisional play every year?
I would.
Wouldn't some people argue that you shouldn't?
Why?
Because it takes away the novelty?
I don't think it's novelty. I think it's an intense rivalry.
You do?
Oh, absolutely. Same thing with the Yankees and Mets. You ask their fans if they'd like to see that. I think they love to see it when they play head-to-head, especially if they were in the same division. Then it would be really meaningful.
Machado, Goodrum, Hicks.
They got to hit it awfully hard to double Charlie, and that's exactly what happened. Right at Machado, then an easy 4-6-3.
Two down for Engel. You wouldn't be in favor of just throw 15 or 16 teams in a league, and whoever's got the best record, top 4, top 6, send them to the playoffs?
No.
Why?
Because I
fair.
think it would take too many teams out of the running, and I think they want more teams in the running to keep the fan interest. So that to me would seem the way to go. You want to keep fan interest. You want to draw people, and you know, for instance, take the Detroit team in 1984 that went 35-5. Well, the rest of those folks around, they were completely out of it. But in a 4-team division where you can qualify for the wild card if, let's say, you're the number 2 team in the division, you keep a lot of interest, especially between the number 3 and the number 2 team in the division.
Through the right side, base hit for Engel. The drawback competitively that some would argue against that with is that year in the NFL when that NFC West team, I think it was the Seahawks, was under 500 and made the playoffs because they just happened to be in the right division.
Well, that happens sometimes, but I mean, we've had some teams that won it all. The Cardinals won 83 games and they won it all. Didn't seem to diminish the fervor for Cardinal fans or anybody else. So to me, I think if you have the 4-team divisions and then you have 4 division winners, they're going to make it in the playoffs. Then you have your 2 wild card teams. And to me, a 4-team division seems to be the way to go. Now, who knows what's going to happen? We don't know. We don't know when there's going to be expansion or if there will be expansion. But I do know that 15 teams is not the way to go, only because you've got interleague play every day all season,
yes,
which means, you know, the rivalries in September. The Yankees and Red Sox, for instance, they don't want to see, their fans don't want to see them playing San Diego in September. And you're going to have situations like that.
The upstart Padres?
It has nothing to do with the Padres.
I know.
It has all to do with playing in your division in September.
Yeah, there are a lot of reasons that 16 in a league is much more workable than 15 long term. Chuck.
So Tracy Ringolsby, the esteemed baseball writer, wrote an article about this with his plan for realignment, and it was a 156 game schedule, and he realigned the teams, and he had a division which I thought was fascinating, the Midwest division, which would include the White Sox, the Cubs, the Rockies, the Astros, the Royals, Brewers, Rangers, and Cardinals. What do you think about that division, first off?
Well, that's a league. That's not a division.
Well, there would be 4 divisions, and that's one of them.
So Tracy says 8-team divisions.
Oh, I see. Well, that would make it awfully tough because 8, 7, 6, 5, and 4 don't have any chance of the playoffs. So you'd have your team eliminated pretty quickly in that, and you couldn't keep the fan interest. And obviously, I respect Tracy because he's been around a long time. I think that takes a lot of teams out of the equation a little earlier than baseball would like.
Well, Tracy typically, if he takes off his hat, he's got like 3 realignment plans in his hat.
The schedule would also allow for every team to get a day off every week, which I know the players would like.
Everybody in the game would like that.
Well, convince the owners to get off of 81 dates, though. That would be a difficult thing because, quite obviously, that's what would happen. I mean, you'd have 78 dates.
But what if you had more playoff games, and then over the course of time it would kind of make it a little bit better, because you'd be expected to be in the playoffs periodically and get those dates back?
Yeah, that's a good plan. I don't think it's workable because you want the other dates.
You do think it's a good plan, though?
Oh, yeah. If you want to see non-competitive baseball most of the season, it's a terrific plan.
Yeah, but you could also, we talked about this before. Sam Miller over at ESPN.com had written a story about how you could revamp the playoffs as well, where they would start much earlier. You'd have 16 play 15, and then the winner of that game play 14, and the playoffs would be going on concurrently with the end of the regular season.
Yeah, that's another good one.
So
you have
if
the
Jim
16,
Angio
wait a
could
second,
cut
you have
back
the
to that
16th
sarcasm
team?
shirt.
Wait a second, you have the 16th team in the playoffs?
Yeah, everybody makes the playoffs, but you're battling for seeding as this season goes along.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Okay,
yeah,
well, I can add.
Joined the National Sarcasm Society. Your dues need to be in by the end of the month.
I can add Tracy's plan for the postseason. You want to hear that?
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely.
go ahead.
Okay.
I do. Steve's being societal.
No, I really think this is good. Go ahead.
He says fan interest could be maintained. I'm literally reading this off of his article. Fan interest could be maintained by allowing for the 4 first-place teams in each division to advance to the postseason and having play-in games against the 8 remaining teams with the best records.
Yeah, see, I like you get rewarded for your regular season success, and you essentially get a bye.
Steve, the traditionalist, does not like this.
No, I don't.
And that's okay.
I mean, look, they're gonna realign baseball. There's no doubt, and I believe they're going to expand. I don't think there's any doubt about that, to get to 16 and 16 in the leagues. But I think you can do it a little better than that particular plan.
Okay, so why don't tomorrow? Why don't we, all 3 of us, me, you, Chuck, come up with our own realignment plans?
Okay, sounds good. It's a day game, so you're gonna have to spend all night working it out. You pass it by Chuck, you guys have a playoff, then it'll come to me and we'll see what happens.
Well, I'll just go back to the original premise. The idea, or as part of the original premise, the idea of having the White Sox, Cubs, Brewers, and Cardinals in the same division sounds like a great idea to me.
Well, I like that one too. If you got a 4-team division, I think that's terrific, Chuck. I would love to see that.
The Royals wouldn't let themselves be split from Kansas City, from St. Louis, I don't think, if we're gonna lobby. You know,
Who cares about the Royals?
that is a sentiment that many share.
None of whoever living in Kansas City or thereabouts, but
Matt Davidson would file a protest if the Royals were out of this division right now.
interesting thing is the Royals had a chance to change leagues initially and didn't. Had they changed leagues, their natural rivals, the Cardinals, they would have been with them.
That's strike 3. End of the inning. Yeah, that was a fun conversation. Thanks for joining us.
The Winston-Salem Dash secured a September playoff spot as they became first-half champs in their division. They look to continue their hot streak tomorrow versus the Wilmington Blue Rocks. Coverage begins at 5 on NBC Sports Chicago. Of course, if these guys had their way here, playoffs wouldn't mean anything because last-place teams would be fighting for it when the season started.
Steve's wardrobe furnished by Cranky Pants. Nico Goodrum leads off the 6th inning. It's a 3-0 score. Thanks for joining us. Chuck Garfien downstairs, Jason Benetti up here, and the old guy in the rocking chair to the right. Good to have you. A note came in during the break.
Yes.
That if you were to put the Cubs and Sox and the Yankees and Mets in the same division, they could never play in the World Series. And I think that's a smart point.
That's true. They could only play 18 times a year, pack your ballparks 18 times a year, and not play in the World Series, which they very rarely have done anyway. I think it's, what, one time?
Yeah, but how special would it be if it happened? Sports is all about hope. Old guy in rocking chair or down.
I certainly hope that plan goes away. So it is about hope.
Look.
Yes. I know you're trying. And
No. I think this is a very interesting topic, and honestly, you're going to hear so much more about it in the coming years in baseball that to expose our audience to your terrible ideas and Chuck and my pretty good ideas, I think is a great plan.
Well, it's a typical progressive idea, and I understand that. I think that's a little too progressive because every team making the playoffs is a little tough. That way you don't really need a regular season.
I totally agree. But I think if you could incentivize more teams to have hope, like the NCAA basketball tournament, right? So Maryland-Baltimore County wins the 16-1 game for the first time ever this March. And they become this sensation. If the worst team in baseball had a chance, they'd have to rip off 30 games in the win column over the course of the postseason, and it's very unlikely. But if you give them a chance to do it from where they stand and make them climb, I think that could be a very compelling upset story.
So now you have 30 games in the postseason. When are you going to start the postseason? In May?
No, the plan was that Sam wrote about was that you would start the playoffs concurrently with the end of the regular season. So you'd have play-in games at certain stadiums while everybody else was fighting for that one spot. That's going to be a base hit for McCann, who's on 3 times tonight.
It is a base hit.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, a lot of base hits, most uncharacteristic for him. That's 9 of them for the Tigers. As this ripped down to third base way, and Yolmer could not corral it. I think in amateur sports, in college sports, in high school sports, in junior high school sports, elementary school sports, kindergarten sports, I think you can have everybody, because you get participation trophies. You can have everybody in the playoffs.
It's not about that, though. It's not about giving everybody a trophy.
Well, it is, because you're letting a team that finished last get into the playoffs.
You just said that we can't have 8-team divisions because it takes away the competitiveness. Now we're adding to the competitiveness, and you're bristling.
I'm what?
You're bristling.
No, there's no bristle here.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Au contraire.
Notice the Manfred didn't happen here. Sanchez found territory, 2 down. And Reyes is out. Machado coming up. Ronaldo Lopez trying to get the Sox through 6 after a bundle of hits, 9 of them so far in the game. Oh, now you want to look at my scorebook?
Well, I have to, because you have disrupted the fine playoff finality of this. Oh, I see now. That's where I was laboring under misconception. How do you keep score? How can you figure that out?
Like that.
It's horrible. You can't even read it.
Yeah? What about yours?
Well, mine
Show
is.
off.
Yes. Very
that's
colorful.
Much better. Here's Coop, who's keeping score on his yellow legal pad, we imagine. Hey, this summer, head to your favorite store and grab some cold Modelo Especial, perfect to enjoy while watching the White Sox. While there, enter for a chance to win tickets to a White Sox game. No purchase necessary. Ends June 25th. Visit crownimportscontest.com for rules. Modelo, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
.94 pitches from Ronaldo and Xavier Cedeno loosening in the pen.
Hi there. One on, two out. Machado coming up. We're getting some very fun tweets in. Joe says I was a little harsh for the old guy rocking chair comment.
That's exactly right. It's elder abuse again.
He is an old guy and the chair rocks. I was just being literal.
No, I think it was a slight.
And anybody who's been an avid viewer of this homestand knows that I was speaking in jest because Steve, as he showed you, had fan graphs on his tablet.
I did.
It's a very progressive man who likes to hide it.
Let me get it back. You told me last time. I don't know. I can do this.
I know you can't. You're sandbagging.
I'll eventually get there.
1-1 on Machado. In the air, center field. For out number 3. McCann stranded at first. Bottom 6 after this. On this date, and Carlos Lee, June 15th, 2004, the franchise record 28 games on the hit streak at old Joe Robbie Stadium into left center field for El Caballo on Soxnet.
Boy, you forgot the charm of that ballpark.
you were there.
It was so hot. It was just so ungodly hot.
And you never watch Jose Valentin here, by the way.
Oh, the old fake to the stands, and Herm Schneider. One of the great trainers in the history of the game.
There's a breaking ball for ball 1. You never made it through a series at old Joe Robbie Stadium, Pro Player Stadium, whatever it was, without a rain delay, right?
No, it was usually, well, it rained like crazy, 3:30 to 4:30. You batten down the hatches, and then guys came back in their shorts and T-shirts because it was ungodly hot during that time. But you got in most of the games. That was a good part. But it was a football stadium, designed as a football stadium. They kind of shoehorned baseball in. It wasn't ideal, but it was the best they could do at the time.
Ricky Renteria, former Florida Marlin. He was Rich Renteria at the time. high in the air, third base side, and out number one. Just in case you weren't peeved enough about the realignment discussion, Chuck and I have some magic to unveil for you about Mike Fiers, who has his one of his college coaches at the stadium here tonight at Guaranteed Rate Field. This is his coach from college, Brad Meyer, who got a picture with Mike Fiers before the game, who now, Coach Meyer, coaches at Homewood Flossmoor High School.
I think that's terrific. It's nice you finally got somebody out there who knows something about what he's doing.
Into center field. That's a base hit.
But I think the thing that I was most amazed with when partnering with you was how many people have graduated or are currently living in that area. It seemed like the greater Chicago area has numerous people from the Homewood Flossmoor area or graduated from high school out there. And
Chuck, why is that?
Why is that, Chuck?
That they're in the media, or just that
just all
there
over.
are so many of us.
We're just loud.
Yep.
We let our presence be felt wherever we go. I don't know the answer to that one. That's a good question.
Steve's a little tired of everybody being from HF.
By the way, you know what tomorrow is, right?
Tomorrow is Saturday.
There's a little HF get-together here in the park.
Is there really?
There is.
How about that?
Steve might want to just
Why don't you
take
and
a break.
Jason make a personal appearance for about 7 or 8 innings tomorrow?
Ball and a strike on Matt Davidson.
Meantime, Matt gets a hole-in-one here and hit a base hit last time. Gets a hole-in-one, and it's a brand new ball game here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
1-2. This game has felt like it's tilted toward Detroit pretty heavily, but it is again 3-0, and you've got a lot of outs to play with.
Well, that's the one good thing that Ronaldo has done, and that is keep the game within reach. And he's done it because he hasn't walked anybody. So he's given up a lot of hits, 9 of them. And the boys have turned a double play.
Right field side, twisting foul.
And this game is still within reach. But Fiers has always been very tough on the Sox. I mean, you look at his career against them, and he's always thrown the ball well. And tonight, no exception. He's taken the game into the 6th inning at this point.
His first start against the Sox this year was one of those gems that he's thrown. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, and silence in the run column. Here's what Fiers has thrown against the Sox. I mean, it's not like he's throwing anything outlandish. That pretty much rides along with what he throws normally.
Well, the four-seam fastball is the one that stays upstairs. That's what he's using mostly. He's getting ahead with a little slider here and there, but more times than not, when he goes to get our hitters tonight, he's throwing high fastballs. They're either popping it up or just flat out missing it.
Polka at first, 1 down. 2-2 to Davidson. Foul of third. Tigers got a run in the 2nd on a Hicks home run, and then a 2-run double, I should say, from Victor Martinez in the 3rd. Got the other 2 runs home. Another foul ball. Friday, June 22nd, Sox take on the A's, 7:10 p.m. Loyola Medicine presents a spectacular postgame fireworks show. Loyola Medicine, we also treat the human spirit. For tickets, visit whitesox.com, or you can call 866-SOX-GAME. Two.
There was that high fastball way out of the zone, and Matt did a good job of just staying alive, fouling it straight back.
Only 77 pitches so far for Fiers.
He's only walked one, given up 5 hits. Make that 6 hits.
Breaking ball in the dirt, 3-2. High fastball here.
You would think so. That's where he's made his money tonight.
Three and two. Polka at first, one down. On the ground through, base hit. 2 on, 1 out for Narvaez.
That was a high fastball, but it wasn't near as high as he would have wanted it. This one, about 5-6 inches above the belt. He takes it through the left side, and it becomes a very interesting inning with only 1 out and 2 on.
You know, you watch 88, 89 miles an hour, and because you're so used to in the current game 96, 97, you say that it looks so easy to hit.
Yeah,
it's still a split-second decision.
No, it's very difficult to hit. If it wasn't, Fiers wouldn't be in the game, and neither would a lot of those soft-tossing left-handers that top out at 86 and get everybody out.
Two on, 1 out, Narvaez. That's up high. Sox trying to open the door to that Tiger bullpen, get a couple of runs on the board, and draw closer. That bullpen is alive.
For the first time tonight, Lewis Coleman loosening up, and the Tiger pen is active.
Downstairs, 2-0. Chuck Carfine.
His issue this season has been the 6th inning. You look at his ERAs from inning to inning. 2nd inning, 3.75. 3rd inning, 3.75. 4th inning, 1.50. 5th inning, 4.09. In the 6th, it jumps to 7.36, and this is where he is right now.
One of the reasons, Chuck, is that usually is the 3rd time through the batting order, and with Fiers, he throws a lot of high fastballs. We've seen that. He doesn't get a lot of breaking balls over the plate, and the 3rd time through has been the charm. So Chris Bosio out to have a word with him. That's if nothing else, to make sure that Coleman has some time in the bullpen, because he just got up.
And in the 5th inning, he has 10 strikeouts and no walks. 6th inning, 7 strikeouts, 5 walks. So control has been an issue here in the 6th as well.
Yeah, you look and you say, well, 5 walks doesn't sound like that much. He doesn't walk many people at all, so that is a number that stands out. As Omar awaits a 2-0. Polka at second, Davidson at first. 2-0. Omar hits it well. Right field toward the pole. Tie game!
Omar with his first home run of the year. He saved it for this situation. And he drives in 3, giving him 7 for the year, his 2nd hit of the night. And just like that, in sudden fashion, the game is tied. Ronaldo Lopez, a very happy man. He kept his team in a game. We talked about how close they were with one big swing, and that big swing from an unlikely man, Omar Narvaez.
Just his 4th career home run. And Tim Anderson gets hit. He and Fiers have a good laugh.
That was a slow curveball, and there's no way in the world that he was throwing at him. Settle down, boys. That was certainly not a purpose pitch or intentional, because he knows Tim's a stolen base target. He's saying, why is everybody coming out? He was having some fun with Tim, and you know, a looping breaking ball. I know it came after the home run, but it's a looping breaking ball, guys. That's all it is.
That was a nothing.
It's a curveball that just got away. Simple as that.
It was pretty much don't worry about it from both of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Tim said something to him. Fiers smiled, and 3-3. Fiers is leaving. The momentum of that pitch took him out of the game. Sox trying to build a rally and take the lead after this.
It's about time. And Lewis Coleman comes into this game. He inherits Tim Anderson at first base. He's been good this year. On for the 15th time. He's 3-1. His ERA a little above 2 3/4. 19 strikeouts and 16 1/3. He's always been a side-wheeling right-hander. And usually he'll have trouble with the left-handers. You would think after getting hit, even if it was a curveball, Tim Anderson would be looking to steal a bag here. He is our most prolific base stealer. He not only steals often, but he steals very effectively. 14 of 15 this year.
You would think the Tigers would mull over a lefty to face Tilson, but they don't have any in the bullpen. Go to first on Tim, and with the home run by Narvaez, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula, and a huge blast to tie the game in the 6th.
That is one happy man.
Another throw on Anderson. Tim 2 for 2 in stolen bases against the Tigers this year. Ball 1.
A Ford home run replay. This ball's low and in and gone. Second hit of the night, first home run of the year. The only doubt would be, would it stay fair long enough? And it was answered yes. Corey Blazer on the call. Aldo Lopez, a very happy man, as you would expect. He kept the game close despite giving up the 9 hits. And his battery mate tied it up for him.
So Omar Narvaez now with at least 2 hits in 4 straight starts.
Pretty amazing how much he's come on. And it's not a coincidence that it was after Kevin Smith got here, with both showing that they should get as much playing time as Ricky thinks.
Hard hit. Candelario to second. Quick turn, double play. Nicely done by the Tigers infield. But we have a whole different baseball game. Omar getting geared up, and the fans are because of him.
By Xfinity, and it's a night of Tim Anderson defensively. This is a fine play because Yolmer was turned around. He couldn't get to it. Tim Anderson could, and it ended the inning. And this time, a good throw to the plate, and he cuts down McCann. So they tried to double steal with a slow-running catcher and didn't work very well as Xavier Cedeno comes into the ball game for the 5th time. He hasn't given up anything. 5 strikeouts and 3 in the 3rd, and the game is in his hands. It's tied at 3. Courtesy of Omar Narvaez.
Cedeno, one of 4 left-handers in the Sox bullpen. And he has been very tough on everybody, but in his career, a lefty specialist. And the sign worked. Got Omar enough power to hit that 3-run homer.
Ronaldo Lopez went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 9 hits. No walks, however, and 3 strikeouts. So you can officially say that he scattered 9 hits.
Yeah, he kept the team in the game.
He did that. Gave up 3 hits in the 2nd, 3 hits in the 3rd, 2 hits in the 4th, and just a hit in the 5th and the 6th. So he only had 1 2-3 inning, and that was the 1st inning.
Curveball foul, 1-2. That home run for Narvaez was his 1st since September 2nd of last year against Tampa Bay's Austin Pruitt.
Bruce Rondon throwing in the pen.
Former Tiger as he is. Close pitch. Martin wanted to lay off and couldn't. He's got good speed, but not good enough. Narvaez completes the out.
Good curveball down and out of the zone. Omar able to deflect it enough to keep it within reach. And here comes Ricky Renteria. Looking in the bullpen, which usually means that he's going to the pen.
Candelario is much better against left-handers, and so is Castellanos. So Cedeno does the job to retire Leonis Martin. And it will be the ex-Tiger, Bruce Rondon, getting the glove ready. And maybe something else. 3-3. Now it is open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite White Sox are represented on this year's squad by voting at whitesox.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 17th live on Fox.
Our Lakeside Bank call to the pen is Bruce Rondon. So Candelario will face him from the left side, and then Castellanos from the right side. On for the 23rd time. ERA of 3.74 and a 2-3 record.
123 games in the Tigers jersey for Bruce. This is 23rd as a White Sox pitcher. He's been an important part of this bullpen for the Sox.
When he gets it over, they don't hit it very well.
Right field and foul.
Turned a 97-mile-an-hour fastball around. Unfortunately, it was foul.
Tigers got him for 3 earned runs in a third of an inning in that series opener back on May 25th. Was Iglesias, Martin, and Castellanos with the hits off of Rondon. Ball and 2 strikes. Set up way outside, and the pitch is up and out.
Luis Avilan throwing in the pen.
Two and 2. Top to first. Abreu dances into position for out number 2. That was sleight of foot, and here is some sleight of hand from the Red Sox game against the Mariners. Xander Bogaerts smacked the bag. Turn 2.
Turned out to be an easy double play once he was able to get to the bag. Almost didn't corral the baseball, but finally he did.
Sleek player, Xander Bogaerts.
Yes, he is. Very dependable shortstop. Not overly flashy, but he does make all the plays.
2 out, bases empty. Castellanos, who singled and scored in the 3rd. Nearly got hit. There's a game available to pick up in the Central. Tigers came in 4.5 back of Cleveland. Minnesota was 6 back, now 5 behind with the win over the Indians tonight. Sox 12, Kansas City 14.5. Slider, strike one.
Well, now Bruce is tapping down that spot around the mound. It was sticking straight up when he threw the last pitch. The one thing you don't want is anything in the infield that can deflect the baseball another way. So Rondon noticed it and tried to take care of it. Maybe Roger will have a trip out there to tap it down a bit more. That's Roger Bossert, the sod father.
The best in the biz.
And he has the amount of fields that he's constructed to prove it.
Castellanos 3rd in the American League in hits, 4th in multi-hit games, tied for 4th in doubles. Close and missed, 3-1. Well, Victor Martinez has swung it well tonight, so you'd rather avoid him here.
If you have a choice, he's a much better hitter from the right side.
(3-1). Slider got a swing and a miss.
That's confidence in the slider to get it over the plate. Castellanos was ready to hit that one, and he's been one of their better hitters this year, but that time the ball just dipped down out of the zone.
He was 100% fastball. He thought for sure. Three and two. Runs inside. So instead of Martinez leading off the 8th, he'll bat with 1 on and 2 out in the 7th. And now Ricky Renteria is going to go to the bullpen.
So Rondon is out. Avilan is in, turning Victor Martinez around from the right side. And as he comes in, we'll step out. Be back after these messages. The pen is Luis Avilan. He comes in, he inherits Castellanos at first base. On for the 30th time. He's been a very busy man. 2-0, an ERA of just above 3.25. There you look at the rest of the numbers with 23 strikeouts and 19 1/3. He turns Victor around.
Oh, that looks good. That's I have some and you don't.
Yes, but I can't eat it. You can. So she has some and you don't.
What you're hoping for if you're Ricky Renteria and really banking on is Avilan getting Martinez, because Hicks and Goodrum and McCann, the next three up, are much better against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching. First pitch, foul ball, strike one.
It was a rolling breaking ball that Victor decided to jump on, but fouled it off.
And when I say much better for those three guys, it's batting average wise, as Castellanos stands at first.
Victor used to be a dead pull hitter from the right side. With that in mind, Sanchez over toward the line and deep at third.
There it is, on the ground to third. Sanchez positioned perfectly. Avilan gets the out. Tigers strand one. The Sox will bring up Engel, Moncada, and Sanchez.
And bring the fun home. Mullet night. How can you tell?
A lot of parties in the back tonight. First pitch to Engel, fouled away. Adam 1 for 2. Interesting scenario with the Sox having tied the game in the 6th and maintaining the tie with 3 relievers in the 7th. Cedeno, Rondon, and Avilan to get through 4 batters in the 7th inning. Tigers have only utilized 1 reliever so far in the game, Coleman. One ball and 2 strikes. This Tigers bullpen, though, could use a little bit of a rest in the setup closer role, because Shane Green and Joe Jimenez have both pitched the last 2 days for Detroit.
When we saw Joe Jimenez in Detroit, he had overwhelming stuff.
One down. The Xfinity Kids Zone overlooks left field and is accessible from all levels of guaranteed rate field. The space features batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and skill instruction from Chicago White Sox Training Academy coaches. While you're there, check out the latest Xfinity technology, including the X1 platform. Okada flashed a bunt and took a strike.
Not a bad idea if Yuan with his speed were to get on. Also, it forces Candelario in at third. He's right at the cut of the grass, but well off the line, and he's the only guy on the left side.
That one swung back enough for strike 2. LSU's Lewis Coleman goes high fastball and misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hey, you think that looks good? Laughter. Teal, purple, and red. Summer colors. Okada just barely got out of the way. 2-2. Wave that flag. Two and two. Well, that was a tester, and the plate doesn't go that far. 3-2.
So Yuan did a nice job of laying off that one.
What a poorly placed fastball low and in.
That would be nice. That's the sweet spot for Yuan.
Three and two on Moncada. Coleman. Got him.
Backdoor slider. That one started on outside part of the plate and swept over the middle. Might have been down, but he had committed. Sierra McCann wants it. He starts it out there, but the ball dips at the end, and Yuan cannot check it up.
That is a tough pitch.
You don't expect the 3-2, but it's a very good pitch if you can get it in the neighborhood.
So Coleman, on just a couple of pitches in the 6th inning, got a double play ball. And now 2 strikeouts in the 7th. Yolmer Sanchez trying to snap out of a 1 for 19.
Gilmer can't pull this guy. He does not have an overpowering fastball, and there's a huge gap in right center.
Bunt, third base side. Coleman way high. Sanchez beats it out and gives Abreu a chance in the 7th.
Well placed bunt. Coleman sliding into the throw, and he can't get it there near in time. But the bare hand pickup is impressive. No way in the world you can get the grip on the ball, and Hicks did a nice job coming off the back and making sure that one doesn't go into right field. So here comes Gardy, and he's going to go to the pen. That's going to be it for Coleman, leaving the go-ahead run on base. And we'll step out as Coleman departs. And it is the bearded Buck Farmer. He comes out for the 34th time. He's 1-3. His ERA is up there at 5 3/4. There you look at the rest of the numbers. Too many walks as opposed to strikeouts. The strikeouts are good. The walks aplenty.
This is the second time this year Ron Gardenhire has used Buck Farmer as a Jose Abreu specialist. He did it back on April the 7th with 2 out in the 9th. In an eventual Tigers win, Farmer threw 2 pitches, 1 fastball, 1 changeup, and he got a fly out to center.
Well, you saw why. 0 for 7 lifetime against him. So he's playing the averages. However, Jose's a very good hitter, and perhaps the law of eventually he's going to get to him will come into play tonight.
In the air, center field. Leonis Martin, another 2-pitch fly out to Martin. Buck Farmer has a hex on Abreu. We're tied at 3. Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard return to star in the next chapter of one of the most exciting movies in history. See Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom in theaters June 22nd.
A new pitcher in the ball game. And there's a look at the much traveled Juan Minaya, on for the 7th time. After being the closer last year, he's done very well against the left-handers. Been the right-handers that have hurt him. And it's Hicks to lead it off. Chris Chelios on the left of your screen. Pretty good hockey player.
Hicks to right field, and this drops. So Goodrum coming up. I was just thinking out loud earlier that John Hicks looks a little like Ed Sheeran. What do you think?
Isn't he the guy that did Galway Girl?
Shape of You.
Oh, that was a lesser outing of his.
I think it plays.
Yeah, he looks very similar to him.
Nico Goodrum takes ball 1. Last time Minaya faced the Tigers, it was very early in the season. First home series, he walked 4 straight, and that was part of the reason he ended up going back to AAA.
That was one of the stranger things that I've seen, because last year he was impervious to anything. I mean, he closed. He was 9 of 10 in save situations, and then early in this season, for whatever reason, he could not get the ball over the plate. Now, sending him down the minor leagues allowed him to start to get the ball over. Now he's back, but the stuff was good enough last year. No reason to believe it shouldn't be good enough this year.
Two balls and a strike on Goodrum. So the good news is that Nico Goodrum has not struck out yet in this game. He has struck out in 7 straight appearances for the Tigers. Hicks at first, 2-1. Now 2-2.
The Tiger pen up and going. It's Alex Wilson, the one remaining Wilson. Justin going to the Cubs in that deal that brought them Candelaria.
Two and two. Goodrum grounds it foul, first base side.
Boy, that one wasn't fouled by much, and that would have been disastrous.
That would have been the lead for Detroit.
2.
Ground out to second, pop out to short, fly out to left for Goodrum. 3-2. Fourth reliever used in the game by the Sox is Juan Minaya. Three and two. There goes Hicks. Tigers took the lead in the second on a John Hicks home run. Then Martinez a 2-run double. Sox countered with Omar Narvaez, his first home run since last September 2nd. A 3-run shot to even the game in the 6th. 3-2 to Goodrum. That is low, ball 4.
McCann's had quite a night. He comes up in a key situation.
3 for 3.
Has grounded into 6 double plays, however.
Four switch hitters in the lineup tonight for Detroit. One left-hander, and in fact they only have one straight left-handed offensive player. There are 4 righties on the bench. Minaya pours in a strike. McCann came in 1 for his last 18, but he's rectified that with 3 singles tonight. One. All right, so 1 and 2, 2 on, nobody out. What are you doing here?
Well, if Juan has the confidence in the slider, it's a good pitch away, hoping he'll roll over and ground it to the left side. If he just wants to throw a fastball, it's good to throw it inside, try to get it under his hands. We'll see what Omar wants.
1-2. That stayed up in the air to right field. Polka is there. Hicks on his way to third. And runners at the corners with one out. So now you have the speed of Reyes in play at the plate. Goodrum at first, Hicks at third.
Now Hicks doesn't run all that well, but he was running on a 3-2 pitch. And Ron Gardner, when he was with Minnesota, would occasionally use not the suicide in this situation because you got a right-hand pitcher on the mound, but the safety squeeze is a decent play. With that in mind, Yomer is in very close at third base.
Tim Anderson much closer to the bag at second than Moncada is.
Goodrum has some speed. 5 stolen bases in 6 attempts.
It's not a no-lose situation, but it's certainly low risk to have him run.
I would think unless Juan holds him very close, he is going to run.
He holds this time, and it's fouled back. Rule 5 draft pick, 23-year-old Victor Reyes. This is 54th career major league at bat.
He does not have either a sacrifice bunt or a sacrifice fly.
There goes Goodrum. Pitches inside. Oh, no reason to throw that.
That was kind of an ill-advised throw because number one, tough pitch to handle. Number two, Goodrum has good speed, and the only thing you can do is throw yourself into some trouble there. From one knee, Omar gets it to second base, but no chance at all.
Infield in now, every position. Double play out of order. By taking that base, you do really minimize the decision tree, though, for the Sox, because a ball on the middle infield, there could have been a scenario you get caught in between, and Reyes has good speed, trying to turn two and not get it.
Well, now you're coming home.
First base side. Jose is coming home. Safe. Nice slide by Hicks.
I think the double clutch, and that was it. If you come home right away, you got him. It was a contact play. Hicks without great speed, but good enough speed and good anticipation on the base paths. He was going from Jump Street. He just beat the play at the plate. Right there, the bobble, and that's all it took. It was still a good throw, but he couldn't get it there in time. And Jose, who's made some wonderful plays at first base, doesn't get him this time.
Jose Iglesias is going to hit for Dixon Machado as the Tigers take the lead.
Fielder's choice and run batted in for Reyes, his 6th. One of the things to bear in mind with Iglesias, he is a very good butter.
You let Reyes run first and then think about it.
Tough choice. I mean, Reyes does have very good speed. You also have good speed in Goodrum, so this is an ideal situation for the Tigers.
Ball 1 to Iglesias. Single for Hicks, walk to Goodrum. McCann the fly ball, got Hicks to third. Goodrum stolen base, Reyes the RBI. There goes Reyes. Iglesias fouls it back.
I'll tell you one of the reasons why they sent him. Unlike earlier tonight, where Tim Anderson was taking the throw, Tim's got a stronger arm than Yoan Moncada. With Tim playing straightaway shortstop, Moncada was the man going to cover at second base, and without the strong arm, it would be very difficult for him to throw home and cut down Goodrum. I think that's why he was running, and he'll probably run again.
He does, and another foul ball. Again, the Tigers have used their closer the last 2 nights, so you'd like to keep this close and put some stress on that Detroit bullpen for the final 6 outs.
Nobody up in the Sox pen, so it's Monaya against the world.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Reyes takes second base, but Iglesias goes after a rough pitch and 2 down.
Iglesias had only walked 12 times in 233 at bats. So it's not surprising that he expanded his strike zone. He does not want to walk at all. And this is a real bad pitch.
He's been one of the toughest guys to strike out in Major League Baseball in his career, but that has changed somewhat this season.
Yeah, this year he's expanded that ability to make contact, although it hasn't been a lot of strikeouts, been more than he's used to.
Ball smashed foul. 0-1. So the Sox in the 7th inning used 3 relievers to get the 3 outs, and now Manaya taking up the 8th inning by his lonesome. Only lefty in the lineup, Leonis Martin. Sox in the 8th will have Polka, Davidson, and Narvaez.
Got to be careful here if you do call a wipeout pitch. If you're Omar Narvaez, Anaya in very short innings has 2 wild pitches.
Tough part about this Tigers order, Steve, when you look at batting averages, Martin has reverse splits, so they're only lefty. Guy that you would imagine you'd bring your lefty specialists on for. He's hitting, I should say, he's hitting 286 against right-handers, so you would bring in the lefty for him if you had one that you wanted to deploy. So 0-2, and now 1 ball and 2 strikes on Martin. I reversed his reverse splits. They're actually regular
splits. It's a double reverse split.
It's a flea flicker.
Goodrum coming well down the line as Yomer is good 30 feet off the bag at third.
1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Martin goes down. Tigers do get a run. Polka after this. The majors trying to get back into a tie after the Tigers got a run in the top of the 8th inning.
Alex Wilson comes in the ball game on for the 21st time. He's 0-3. His ERA just over 4. Usually gets the ball over the plate, throws pretty hard. He's been in that Tiger pen for quite some time now. Jose Iglesias takes over at shortstop. He came on a pinch hit into a strikeout. And Goodrum shifts over to second base.
Daniel Polka trying to square up a baseball and gets a break with ball 1. Foul territory, left field side, and strike 1. Daniel Polka this season 6 for 17 against Detroit. He's got a homer. He's driven in a couple runs. See if he can light one up in a 1-run game in the 8th.
This is the 4th year for Wilson in Detroit. He came over from Boston. And Rick Porcello going the other way. Wilson came along with Yoenis Cespedes.
Came inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And if you look at where Daniel Polka has had the most success, it has been middle and away. Down and in certainly is a place where you don't want to pitch him, but for the most part, middle and away, he's hit the ball very well.
Like a lot of left-handed power guys, inside is tough for them. They try to lay off, and that open stance invites the ball in.
Like that.
Like that.
Two balls, 2 strikes. On the ground, over the mound. Tough play. Iglesias glove sweep. No!
That was the only play Iglesias had because he couldn't go down, get it, and throw it. As Polka hustled down the line, 2 for 4 tonight. Trace Thompson's going to pinch run for him, but Daniel got the job done. He got on base representing the tying run.
So with Trace's speed now on the base path, what do you do with him here? You let him run?
No, I do not.
He is there solely for a ball down the line or in the gaps.
Well,
not that there are many.
With nobody out here, I wait and see how the count dictates what Matt is going to do.
What I mean by that is the Tigers are playing deep.
Oh, they are all the way around.
Ball number 1. Right side, through, base hit. Thompson stops at second. Castellanos got there quickly. And now Omar Narvaez with 2 on and nobody out in the 8th inning.
Matt's got 3 of them tonight. This is a slider away. Good plate coverage because this ball is well off the plate. Just squibs it into right field.
So Jose Rondon will pinch run for Davidson. And now you have Omar up, Tim Anderson to follow, and Narvaez with the 3-run homer to give the Sox all their runs in this game. There is a button labeled bunt that the urge for some might be to press, but you have a 2 for 3 hitter up. What do you do?
I let him swing away. I think he's swinging it well enough where you can take the gamble. But he's going to bunt.
He does. Throw goes to first. Second and third, one out.
Sacrifice accomplished. There's the tying and go-ahead run. Good bunt. Leaving Wilson only one play called by the catcher. So with the play in front of him, McCann is the man who called the play, and he realized there was no play at third. He got the out at first. And they're going to walk Anderson, take the bat out of his hands. Face Charlie Tilson with the bags loaded.
Charlie's grounded into a couple double plays tonight. He's 1 for 3. But with the infield likely in at a couple of places, you get a guy who makes contact. You never know if he'll find an angle.
Here comes Ron Gardner. There's nobody in the pen, so this is just how they want to defend this. He went around and told everybody in the infield what he wants them to do. Ricky going through his set of signs.
Tell you what, lefties this year against Wilson have slugged .500. A double and 3 homers of the 8 hits.
Well, normally Charlie puts the bat on the ball.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Fouled away left side.
You would have to figure that what Gardy told the middle infield was anything hit to you guys, Iglesias or Goodrun, you turn the double play second to first. Boys on the corner, you come home with it. As he didn't say that, they're playing too deep to come to the plate.
0-1. On the ground, slowly hit. Hicks comes home and gets 1. Bases still loaded, 2 down.
Not much contact here, and we told you they were coming into the corners. That's exactly what Hicks does. Hicks a catcher, so he makes a good solid throw, and you see McCann come well out in front of the plate to make sure that Trace Thompson couldn't get a piece of him.
It's up to Adam Engel at 1 for 3 with a single to right back in the 5th. Outside, ball 1. Rondon at third, Anderson at second, Tilson at first.
On any base hit, they're going to have to throw out Tim Anderson at the plate because Nick Capra is not going to hold him up.
Check swing. He did go.
We'll check it from the side, and he did not check it up.
Adam recharges against Alex Wilson. Bases loaded, 2 out. 1 and 2.
Looks to me like Wilson's going to make him hit that slider. Wilson has a couple of wild pitches this year. And the fans a little tense.
Rightfully so. 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
His whole at bat has been outside off the plate. All 4 pitches, and it's 2-2. Tim able to get a very good secondary lead at second base. Nobody paying any attention to him.
2 hits, then a bunt. Intentional walk and a fielder's choice. Bases loaded, 2 out, 2-2. On the ground, up the middle. Iglesias just got him. Wilson tiptoes out.
Sox continue the series with the Tigers. Coverage begins at 12:30 with White Sox pregame live, and you can stream the game on the NBC Sports app. Got to hold them right there. Put some pressure on their bullpen when they come in the game for the bottom of the ninth.
It'll be Moncada, Sanchez, and Abreu for the Sox, and Minaya stays on to face Candelario. Trace Thompson in right field, in for Daniel Polka as a pinch runner in the bottom of the 8th. In for a strike, 1-1. A lot of hinge points in tonight's game so far.
A lot of opportunities for both teams, yet there's only 7 runs scored. 21 hits combined, 10 for the Tigers, 11 for our Sox.
One-two, fouled away. Candelario looks like he's going to break a rather inauspicious streak. He had struck out at least twice in his last 6 games. That would be very difficult to do tonight, considering he has none into the 9th.
This game would have to go a long way to keep that streak going.
Was that foreshadowing?
You never know. Strange game.
On the ground, foul at first. Tigers got a run in the 8th inning on a fielder's choice from Victor Reyes, scoring John Hicks, who had a leadoff single. Then the Sox in the home 8th had 2 hits and an intentional walk, but did not score. 1-2. Sox and Tigers will play again tomorrow at 1:10 right here on NBC Sports Chicago. Lucas Giolito is scheduled for the Sox to face the Tigers, who have TBA on the mound to this point. Two and two. Inside. Juan Minaya, 35 pitches deep tonight. He gets a swing for strike three.
Candelario was in swing mode. This ball's way out of the zone, and he goes after it, down on strikes. Nice stop by Omar, and he tags him out.
One down, Castellanos. Tigers came into the night 4.5 back of first place Cleveland, who lost to Minnesota this evening. The Tigers with a chance to draw within 3.5. There's a strike. Sox bullpen has been just outstanding over the past couple of weeks. .68 ERA in the last 9 games, 236 in the last 31 games.
Been a remarkable comeback for the pen that was a little leaky when the season started, but the addition of Jace Fry and everybody throwing well. Volstead has thrown well. Nate Jones, when he was healthy, was throwing very well.
Xavier Cedeno up from AAA. Joakim Soria has reinvented himself.
That's been one of the biggest stories so far, is the fact that Soria now nails one down every time he gets the opportunity.
3-2. Got him on the corner.
This ball was right on the outside corner. Perfect pitch. Omar didn't have to do anything with it. Gary Cedarstrom rings him up.
After the 7th inning saw 3 relievers, didn't really expect that Juan Minaya would be called on for 2 innings, but he's an out away from 2 full. Top of the order coming up for the Sox in the home 9th.
I think it's Shane Green loosening up in the pen. He is their closer, and despite 2 games in a row, he probably told Gardy he was ready to go.
Oh, 0-2. Mullet night rolls along. Sox need a comeback after a 1-run 8th for the Tigers. 0-2. Minaya. On the ground, second base, Moncada. Sox have 3 outs to get 1 run or more. Yoan grabs a bat first.
And it comes off the bat of Omar Narvaez. His first home run of the year. It tied up the game at 3-3. Bomb that just barely stayed fair. Our Miller moment, and we've got a new pitcher in the ball game. And it is Shane Green. On for the 35th time. 17 of 20 in save situations, 38 big strikeouts and 33 and a third. He loves the slider.
It was August 10th of last year. Sox and the Astros were 2-1 in the 9th inning. And Yoan Moncada hit a home run off Ken Giles to tie the game and send it to extras. Moncada leads off this ninth. Takes a called strike. Chuck Garfien.
The pattern with Yoan Moncada, when he swings at the first pitch, he's batting 400. He did not swing at that first pitch. If he gets to an 0-1 count after that, he's batting 172 this year. If it gets down to 0-2, he's batting 050. See what happens here.
On the ground, second base. Goodrum, a bobble and a recovery for out number one. So he went down a strike and rolls out to second, one away.
That's a ringing endorsement to stay in front of the ball, because especially at second base, you've got a chance with one bobble. If you stay in front, it'll trickle in front of you. You still have time. Watch it again. He's in front of it, so when he does miss the ball, it hits him in the body and they get the out. If he's playing that off to the side, it's going into right field.
One down, Yolmer Sanchez. Shane Green, for the 5th time this year, throws on a 3rd consecutive day. And he's only given up a run once in those first 4 times on the final day of 3.
When we talk about closers especially, they will rust away before they wear away. The setup men, 8th inning, 7th inning guys, they'll get a lot of appearances. The closer doesn't have a chance to close all that often, so he usually needs the work. This is a lot of work, however.
Sanchez right at Goodrum. So it's up to Jose Abreu. Jose does have a home run career against Shane Green. He's 4 for 16. Jose Abreu 1 home run shy of Jose Valentin for 11th in Sox history. And you think of all the clutch hits Jose Valentin had for the Sox, and Abreu with 1 swing could tie this game. He lays off the breaking ball, 1-1. Trace Thompson is next, so Green does not have to give in to Abreu here, considering the power disparity. However, Trace does have a walk-off home run this year for the Sox. On the ground, Iglesias has no play. Abreu safe at first with 2 down.
Even if he comes up with this cleanly, he's not going to make that play. Jose is running better these days, and he was going to beat this anyway. Hit it in the hole. Iglesias bobbled on the transfer, and that is a tying run on base.
All right, Trace Thompson.
Time for your second walk-off. Outfield's going to play exceptionally deep all the way around. They're going to get beat on a home run if they get beat, but they don't want Jose scoring from first on a double.
That is a lot of room for a bloop, though.
There is.
To push the inning along. Rondon on deck. Slider, strike 1. Trace Thompson came in as a pinch runner for Daniel Palka in the 8th. 0-2.
95 upstairs, you're not going to catch up to that.
Sox down to their final bullet. Abreu at first, 2 out. Fouled back.
A pensive bench.
Oh, and 2. No go. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Trace Thompson in his second go around with the Sox.
It's going to be a slider. Hopefully he hangs it.
It was hittable, and it's popped up. Iglesias at shortstop ends the game. A close one, and it goes to Detroit in the series opener, 4-3.
Well, the boys battled back, but unfortunately lost it late. And Detroit comes in knowing that Cleveland already lost, and they win a big ball game for them. They get a game closer to the Indians. So we'll see you tomorrow in a quick turnaround.
Sounds good. Detroit now 3.5 games back of first place Cleveland in the American League Central. We say goodnight for our producer Keon Dolachahi, our director Jim Angio, associate producer Dave Ross, technical manager Mark Harper, the executive producer Greg Bowman, and our entire NBC Sports crew. For Chuck Garfine, for Steve Stone, I'm Jason Benetti. So long from Guaranteed Rate Field. Coming up next, Subaru White Sox postgame live. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago. Good night.